sold their own children to be bondservants, both their sons and their daughters. And it says, and some of our daughters are brought into bondage already. Neither is it in our power to do what? To redeem them, for other men have our lands and vineyards. So what does that mean? They could not buy them back. So they were sold as slaves, they were sold as bondmen and bondservants, and they could not be bought back. Because what does the law say? If a stranger waxes great against you, and you sell yourself unto them to be a bondman or a bondmaid, what happens? Your next of kin has to buy you out, has to redeem you. That never happened when they was taken into Egypt, nor did it happen in the transatlantic slave trade. But I don't even use that. I don't necessarily use that one, because all you have to do is go to Joel chapter 3, and it tells you what the transatlantic slave trade that was prophesied in there. And no one can get past that because it's talking about a particular type.
That doesn't make any sense. I'll read to you Deuteronomy 28:68 and prove it. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I speak unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there you should be sold. You shall be sold unto your enemies. So if you have one sold or many sold, and then you have a few not sold, does that really fulfill the prophecy of not being sold when no one would buy you? Well, from what I understand, that they tried to sell them to the Egyptians, and the Egyptians didn't sell them, and they would not buy them. Okay? That's another example, and this is me not being disrespectful. This is just me disagreeing with you very heavily, okay? This is just another example of what I believe Hebrew Israelites just talking to get themselves out of this difficult situation, because that has nothing to do with the verse whatsoever. Absolutely nothing. Again, you guys can call the G Podcast 657-383-0454. God is putting it on your heart to give a small donation to this ministry. The PayPal link is in the description. Subscribe to Mac Thomas. Hit the bell if you're a Hebrew Israelite if you want more Mac Thomas. Also, check out From Blaze to Glory. He has a lot of edifying, godly videos on his YouTube channel. Check them out. Next week, I will be promoting another YouTube channel where people are actually taking the time out to actually teach and preach. We do have a caller here, Mac, so let me take this call. Please understand that if you call in, let us know who the question is for. If it's from myself or if it's from Mac, give us time to answer your question. All right? So let me unmute you. Okay, welcome, 704. Welcome to the G Podcast, G-Man versus the Black Hebrew Israelite, season number 4. Who is your question or comment for today? My question is for you, G-Man. Cool. Okay, so hey, Mac, how's it going? Who am I speaking to? Am I speaking to a Hebrew Israelite, a Christian? Like who am I speaking to? G-Checker. How you doing, G-Checker? Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm all right. What's your question you'd like to ask me? My question is, you said that the Romans attempted to sell the Jews, but they never sold them. Did they sell none, or did they sell a few and a few didn't sell? How does that go? From what I understand, they attempted to sell them to the enemies, and no one bought them. The commentary that I read, it said that many of them perished before they can actually try to sell them. And I believe some of them were sold to some different enemies. But when it came down to Egypt, they was to be sold, but nobody wanted to buy them. Okay, because there's a few different historians, Josephus being one of them. And Martin was another one. And they said that there were so many Jews that, they were being sold for like horses and, for a low wage, for what for a low rate. And they were still sold. So if you have one sold or many sold, and then you have a few not sold, does that really fulfill the prophecy of not being sold when no one would buy you? Well, from what I understand, that they tried to sell them to the Egyptians, and the Egyptians didn't want them. As we go on in the series, I'm going to be able to prove that this happened a few times in Israel's history, where nations have attempted to send the Jews to other nations, and the other nations didn't want them. I'll be able to prove that in the future in our future conversations. We don't got enough time to go into it today, but I could briefly go into it if you want. Right, because I do want to ask you. You said that Egyptians didn't want to buy them, but did the Egyptians hold their own land during 70 AD, or were they a province of Rome? Well, obviously, Rome was a superpower back then. I would think that that Egypt was a conquered country, just like every other country during that particular time under the Romans. All right, so with you just admitting that, I mean, it really doesn't make sense for you to say that they try to sell them to the Egyptians, and the Egyptians then buy them, and plus that just goes against history. But that's just all I wanted to bring up, because anybody that knows about Josephus or Muncher know that there were Jews sold in Egypt, but there were a lot that wasn't sold. So if there's any sold, then you can't use that argument for Deuteronomy 28:68. And with that, I want to say shalom. All right, I appreciate your effort, but I would disagree with you, because I can take the same argument and use the same thing for the transatlantic slave trade. You know, because no one was supposed to buy them, and I can assure you that when blacks was brought over here during the transatlantic slave trade, they was bought with money. But I appreciate your effort. Let me see.
Okay, so that was me calling in the G podcast. I don't know why my phone was so choppy. I don't know if that was his internet or what, but I do want to add on that 70 AD does not fulfill Deuteronomy 28 and 68 according to G-Man's logic, because according to G-Man's logic, no one bought the Jews in Egypt when Munter and Josephus says otherwise, that there were Jews bought. So what Mac Thomas was about to bring out was that Nehemiah 5 and 8, the no man shall buy you, is basically speaking of no man shall redeem you. And if you go to Nehemiah 5 and 8, you will see where it was speaking about Israelites redeeming other Israelites. So I guess to kind of expound a little further, the way G-Man uses no man shall buy you and the way we use no man shall buy you are totally opposites. G-Man thinks it means literally no man will buy you. That's why, according to his own logic, 70 AD fails, because there were Jews bought in Egypt. Munter and Josephus kind of confirmed that. But when we, on the other hand, the Israelites, say no man shall buy you, we use Nehemiah 5 and 8 as a reference in saying that no man shall redeem us. So with the way we look at it, the transatlantic slave trade, we were sold, but nobody redeemed us. Okay? Because the verse is very clear. It says you will be sold. You can't say that somebody was sold, which means the transaction was complete and no man buys you. That's a terrible argument. How can you say somebody was sold, but nobody bought them? That's just like saying I sold my house for $150,000, but nobody bought my house. You could say that I put my house up for sale for $150,000 and nobody bought it, but you can't say you sold your house, because sold means past tense, something that has come to pass. So everything about the way G-Man looks at that argument, it just completely fails. And I wanted to get into it more, but I just didn't want to take up too much time. And I've dealt with this plenty of times, so I might miss out. I might leave out a couple of things when I'm talking to somebody like G-Man. But I hope this clears up my call in on the G podcast. Shalom.